이 사건은 인종차별과 관련된 총기 사건이었습니다. 그래서 버락 오바마 대통령은 단순히 희생자 추도로 끝낼 것이 아니라 이 사회적 편견과 맞서 싸우는 노력이 있어야 한다고 이야기합니다. 자, 내용 먼저 보시죠.
But it would be a betrayal of everything Reverend Pinckney stood for, I believe, if we allowed ourselves to slip into a comfortable silence again.
You're right.
Once the eulogies have been delivered, once the TV cameras move on, to go back to business as usual.
Right.
That's what we so often do. To avoid uncomfortable truths about the prejudice that still infects our society.
네, 내용을 보시면 It would be a betrayal of everything. 모든 것에 대한 배반이 될 것입니다. Reverend Pinckney stood for, I believe. Reverend Pinckney 목사가 stood for 이렇게 지지하고 어떤 주장하고 나섰던 어떤 경우에 배반이 된다는 거죠. 그 모든 것에 대한 If we allowed ourselves, 우리가 우리 자신을 to slip into a comfortable silence again. 편안한 안락한 그 침묵 속으로 빠져들도록 즉 이 추도사가 끝나고 나서 그냥 또 조용히 하면은 또다시 again 또다시 그게 피크니 목사가 싸웠던 모든 것에 대한 배반이 될 것입니다 라는 뜻이었습니다. But it'll be a betrayal of everything 이렇게 누르고 있습니다. But it'll be a betrayal betray에 누르세요. But it'll be a betrayal 저 따라하고 계시죠? Of everything 하고 에 많이 누릅니다. 자, 통으로 눌러볼까요? But it'll be a betrayal of everything.
But it would be a betrayal of everything.
But it'll be a betrayal of everything Reverend Pinckney stood for. I believe.
Reverend Pinckney stood for, I believe.
Reverend Pinckney stood for. I believe. If he allowed allowed 누릅니다. If he allowed ourselves 또 뒤에 누르네요. If he allowed ourselves to sleep 한 번 더. If he allowed ourselves to sleep.
If we allowed ourselves to slip
If he allowed ourselves to sleep in way into로 하지 않고 t가 약화돼서 in way 이렇게 됩니다. In way 빨리 가고 comfortable silence again. In way comfortable silence again.
into a comfortable silence again.
In way comfortable silence again. 다시 가볼까요?
But it would be a betrayal of everything
But it'll be a betrayal of everything
Reverend Pinckney stood for,
Reverend Pinckney stood for.
I believe.
I believe.
If we allowed ourselves to slip
If he allowed ourselves to sleep
into a comfortable silence again.
in a comfortable silence again. 그게 세 번 가세요. But
But it
it'll
would
be
be
a betrayal of everything Reverend Pinckney stood for. I believe. If he
We
allowed
allowed
ourselves to sleep in a comfortable silence again. But it'll
But it would
be a betrayal of everything Reverend Pinckney stood for. I believe. If he allowed ourselves to sleep in a comfortable silence again.
But it would be a betrayal of everything
Reverend Pinckney stood for. I believe. If he allowed ourselves to sleep in a comfortable silence again.
But it would be a betrayal of everything Reverend Pinckney stood for, I believe. If we allowed ourselves to slip into a comfortable silence again.
You're right.
자, 언제 그렇게 안락한 침묵으로 빠져든다는 얘기죠? Once the eulogies have been delivered. 추도 연설이 끝나고 once the TV cameras move on. TV 카메라가 다음 화제로 돌리자마자 to go back to business as usual. 늘 그랬듯이 일상으로 돌아가기 위해 우리가 안락한 침묵에 다시 빠져든다는 그런 이야기였습니다. Once the eulogies, 여러분 발음 eulogies예요. Once the eulogies have been delivered 하고 have been deal까지 빨리 간 다음에 le를 누르시는 거예요. have been delivered. 통으로 가시면 once the eulogies have been delivered.
Once the eulogies have been delivered.
Once the eulogies have been delivered. Once the TV cameras move on. TV 두 개 다 누르세요. Once the TV cameras move on.
Once the TV cameras move on.
Once the TV cameras move on. To go back to business. to go back to business as usual. as usual. 통으로 가시면 to go back to business as usual. to go back
to business as usual.
다시 가볼까요?
Once the eulogies have been delivered.
Once the eulogies have been delivered.
Once the TV cameras move on.
Once the TV cameras move on.
To go back to business as usual.
To go back to business as usual. 크게 세 번 가세요.
Once the eulogies have been delivered. Once the TV cameras move on.
To go back to business as usual.
Once the eulogies have been delivered. Once the TV cameras move on.
To go back.
To go back to business as usual.
마지막입니다.
Once the eulogies have been delivered. Once the TV cameras move on.
To go back.
To go back to business as usual.
usual.
Once the eulogies have been delivered. Once the TV cameras move on. To go back to business as usual.
That's what we so often do. 우리는 자주 그렇게 합니다. To avoid uncomfortable truths. 불편한 진실을 피하기 위해서요. About the prejudice. 편견이죠. That still infects our society. 여전히 우리 사회에 악영향을 끼치는 그런 편견에 대한 불편한 진실을 피한다는 뜻이었습니다. That's what we so often do. We so often do. 통으로 가면 That's what we so often do.
That's what we so often do.
That's what we so often do. To avoid 뭐 누르시죠? Uncomfortable come 누르시죠? Truth 앞에 거 누르세요. To avoid uncomfortable truth about 이 부분이 침묵이 길어요.
To avoid uncomfortable truths about the
To avoid uncomfortable truth about the prejudice that still infects our society. 통으로 가면 the prejudice that still infects our society.
prejudice that still infects our society.
The prejudice that still infects our society. 다시요.
That's what we so often do.
That's what we so often do. To avoid uncomfortable
truths about
about
the prejudice that still infects our society.
the prejudice that still infects our society. 잘하셨습니다. 자, 세 번 크게 가보실 텐데 그 to avoid uncomfortable 그 앞에 좀 침묵이 길어요. 그거 감안하세요.
That's what we so often do.
To avoid uncomfortable truths. To avoid uncomfortable truths about the prejudice that still infects our society. That's what we so often do. To avoid uncomfortable truths about the prejudice that still infects our society. 마지막입니다. That's what we so often do. To avoid uncomfortable truths about the prejudice that still infects our society.
That's what we so often do. To avoid uncomfortable truths about the prejudice that still infects our society.
네, 자막 없이 통으로 듣고 오세요.
But it would be a betrayal of everything Reverend Pinckney stood for, I believe, if we allowed ourselves to slip into a comfortable silence again.
Right.
Once the eulogies have been delivered, once the TV cameras move on, to go back to business as usual.
Right.
That's what we so often do. To avoid uncomfortable truths about the prejudice that still infects our society.
네, 잘 들으셨죠? 수고 많으셨습니다.